Hello, good day from wherever you're watching from. I'm the CEO of Unique Angelica Fashion House, and you're on my channel Sew with Unique Angelica. So today we'll be drafting a very professional pattern, which is normally called Natalie Bray pattern drafting. We'll be using Natalie Bray pattern drafting method to draft this pattern. And there are things we need to know before getting into drafting this pattern proper. Three things that we need to know. One is the measurement that will be needed for this pattern drafting. The measurements that will be needed for this pattern drafting is our shoulder, our bust, our chest line, our bust point, our under bust circumference, our half length, our cross chest, our hip, our waist, and our apex. Our half length, the way we take the measurement of our half length is that we have our client turn her back, because it's a female pattern, while you measure from the back neck width to the point, the deepest part of her back. If possible, tie a rope there. You understand? The other one that we are supposed to take note of, and before I go into the other points, I also like us to know that this pattern drafting, this measurement that we all also now will be taken in centimeter, not inches. To be taken in centimeter, not inches. The Natalie Bray pattern drafting method uses the centimeter part of the tape, not the inches. I know we all are used to the inches. Another is that there is a prepared table, a proportional table that Natalie Bray prepared for this pattern drafting for us to make it very easy for us. And the determining factor for the proportions we'll be using for this this is our bust. Let's assume that your bust is 84. It means all these proportions here are you are going to lift them and impute them in your pattern. My bust is 104. These are all the proportions I normally use to draft my pattern. So your bust is your determining factor. If it's 90, there's no 90 here, so it falls on 88. If it's 102, it falls from 100. Between 100, from here, between 84 and 85, we use all these proportions. Between 88 and 91, we use all these proportions. Between 92 and 95, we use all these proportions. So you check where your bust falls in. Okay, hope this my explanation is okay. So okay, another is actually 4 things that I'm supposed to note is the tools that we'll be using. This is our measuring tape. We needing a pencil and an eraser, but I'll be using marker for this project. Then a hip curve, a French curve, see it, a French curve, a hip curve, a ruler, a long ruler. It ranges from 1 to 40 inches. Remember, we are using this part of it, the centimeter. And of course, a tracing wheel. This is used to trace our pattern into another plain sheet. For maybe your client wants 2 or 3 designs from you. You don't have to draft multiple patterns. You just transfer it with this tool here. You transfer it to your pattern to a plain sheet. So let's get right into drafting this pattern. The first, we are drafting a half body, quarter of our front and quarter of our back, our CB and our CF. Our CB will be here, while our CF will be there. So the next thing I want us to note is that before you start drafting this pattern, you need to prepare your pattern sheet. Of course, we need a pattern sheet to draft this pattern. Before you start drafting your pattern, you need to prepare your pattern paper, your pattern sheet. I like using white. You understand? That is a brown pattern paper. And for you to the way how you prepare it is that you draw a box, and that box, you know, it maybe, let me say, triangle, I think a square or what, I've forgotten the shape, so sorry. This, let's call it a box. It has 2 vertical points and 2 horizontal points. The figure for this horizontal point is constant. This line here is constant for every size and is 75 centimeter. Remember, we are using centimeter. Is 75 centimeter. But this vertical line here is determined by the highest value in our measurement. I've already done the calculations for us. By the way, this before I go further, this proportional table, you can get it online. I will also attach it on this video. You can get it, Google it, Natalie Bray proportional table, and you will see it. So you use the highest value of your measurements. Mine is my hip. My hip is 104. My bust is my hip is 112 centimeter. My bust is 104 centimeter. You understand? Normally, the highest value of our body is the highest figure. Most times it's either our bust or our hip. Mine is my hip. Some people is their bust. They are busty. So if it's mine is my hip now. My hip, I'll be using half waist, half hip plus 3 will give me this vertical line here. This top line here, the base that will be starting from. But if it's my bust, it will be half bust plus 5. Remember, for hip is half hip plus 3. For bust is half bust plus 5. When we get to the waist, we'll be using this to tighten our waist. This calculation is for waist tightening. When we get there, I'll show. So let's get right into it. The first measurement we'll be inputting here is coming from the proportional table and is known as our point O. They call it point O. Look at it. Point O. And remember, I say it will fall on your bust. Point O. I don't know if you can see it very well. Point O here for the CB. So I'll come here. This is where my bust falls, 104. And my point O is 4. Hope you understand this. So I will come from the top where I drew this vertical line and come down by 4 centimeter. Hope I'm loud enough. I'll come down by 4 centimeter. So after doing that, I will, from the top of my pattern, pattern sheet, I came down by 4 centimeter to get my point O. Point O. So another is to come down from that point O. I'll be coming down by 3 centimeter, and it's constant. Some figures that will also be imputing on this pattern drafting, this pattern Natalie Bray pattern drafting, is a constant. This one I'm doing now, from your point O down, you measure 3 centimeter, is constant for every side. So on that point where I marked my point O, I'll be extending it a bit, maybe 9, not extending too much, at most 15, because to serve as my neck width. So I'll also come here and extend this one, maybe 25. And before you extend, make sure your line is in equilibrium, like you measure from the base to make sure that you're getting it right. So I've measured from the base and I'm extending it to 25. This will serve as my shoulder. My marker is getting faint. Okay, so I have extended it. Okay. So So the next point now is to impute our bust line. You understand? Our bust line. Our bust line. You can call it the bust line. So I will come here in this place where my 0.4, my bust measurement is. I'll look for my bust line. Under my bust line, my own is 23 set. Also, I'll measure 23 centimeters. Every measurement I'll be taking now will be from this point O, not from the top of our pattern paper, not from this base. Now it will be coming from this point O. That's that place where I came down by 4, and I got that 4 from the proportional table. So from this point O now, I'll measure 23 to get my bust line. This line is also my armhole length too. So I'm measuring 23 centimeter down, 23 centimeter down, and I will be ruling it across because my back also have, my fronts also have the same, have armhole. You understand? I'll be ruling it across. Hope this is well understood. I'll be taking it across to 3 lines that I'll be taking across to my center front is my bust line, my waistline, and my hip line. You get? So I'm taking this one to okay. So this is it. This is it. This is my bust line. So bust line. So before I go further, I'm going to create our armhole on our back armhole here. So for me to do that, first I will impute my back width, my back neck width, which I will get from the proportional table. Go to where your bust falls from and check where your back width is. Mine is 8 centimeter. 8 centimeter. And from that point I mark 8 centimeter, I will go up by 2. Please, you don't rush Natalie Bray pattern method. This pattern drafting method was a game changer for me, honestly speaking. So take your time, study this pattern. If it takes you watching this video 20 times, practice as you watch, follow this step by step. It will be difficult at the initial time if it's your first time, you understand? But don't panic, you will get it right. So from this point, I went up by 2 centimeter, and I took my, see the way I'm placing my curve, my ruler, my French curve. This you can zoom if it's far from you. See the way I'm placing it, and I curve it. This is my neck, my back neck width now. So you know, in the measurements we took, there's a measurement called across back. The measurement from the point of one point of our armhole to the other, you understand, at the back, to measure the width of our back across our back, you understand. By the way, this Natalie Bray pattern drafting method has its own different way of measurement. Just it's not that it's different, but that's slightly different from the normal way we take our measurement, you understand. So the video for the measurements will also be on the channel. Okay, so my across back, you understand, my own from one point of my armhole to the other, my own is 22. I'll be dividing it by 2. Remember, it's half bodies. I'll be dividing it by 2, and to give me 21. To give me 21. So I'll be inputting the 21 on this shoulder level, this second line that I came down by 3. I'll be imputing it there. Then I will go out by 2 points. From that point of my across back, I'll go back out by 2 centimeters. Sorry, no point. Then I will take my ruler, placing it this way, putting it on this point, and also touching this my neck point, and I will roll. I will connect them together. I'll connect them together. I'll come down here and get this impute the measurement of my across back here, and it's 21. That's on my bust line. Then I will connect it to my shoulder line. This is not hard though. Don't be scared. I'll connect it to my shoulder. Then I'll find the midpoint from this point O to my bust line. I'll find the midpoint. From my point O to my bust line is 23. You understand? So the midpoint is 11 and half. Hope this is well understood. The midpoint is 11 and half. And I will rule. I'm trying to create a back armhole. And I will rule. And from this point, this midpoint line, I'll come down by 3 centimeters. I'll come down by 3 centimeters. Okay? I will come down. See, I found the midpoint from this point O to my bust line, and this is it. So from that point, I came down by 3 centimeters. So what I'm going to be doing now is to go to I'll be imputing my back UP here. Back UP is in the proportional table. You understand? After the bust line, you see the back UP. So I'll go to my bust line, my bust measurement. My bust measurement. I'll go to where my back. This is where my back UP is. Mine is 6.5. So I will come to this point and measure 6.5. I'm trying to form my armhole. 6.5. This is my back width, back UP. So this is 6.5. I'll come to this angle and form angle 45. This angle that looks like angle 90, I'll form angle. From there, I'll measure 3 centimeters. Remember, this was 6.5 centimeter. This is 3 centimeters. This one is constant. This one was gotten from the table. This one is constant. You understand? This 3 here that came down is constant for everybody. This 3 I measured here is constant, but this one you get it from the proportional table. So I'll go up by 3 centimeters. Take my French curve. See how I'm placing it. You can zoom to see it very well. I'll make sure my French curve is touching this point, this point, this point, and this point. If your own, my own, I'm fortunate for my own to balance. Some people, their own will not balance because of their measurement. So you break it. You understand? You can first of all put it here and curve. You come here, put it and curve. It's not must that if you put your own, it must the ruler must be fixed this way. I am just fortunate for my measurements to have it that way. So the next thing now is to impute our half length. I told us that how to get our half length is to measure from the back width to the deepest part of our body. And mine is 42. That will be serving as our waistline. And also remember that every measurement we'll be imputing on this pattern is from point O. So from point O, I will measure 42. I got it from my measurement. It's my half length. And you get it from the back, not from the front. You get it from the back, not from the front. So mine is 42 centimeters. I will put it here. From this, I will also go here. Because I told us there are 3 lines that I will rule across: my waist, my bust line, my hip line, and my so I am measuring from the tip, adding these 4 inches. Remember, I measure from here because I want to get a straight line, a perfect straight line. That's what I'm measuring. But you measure from here to get your back, your half length. This is our waistline. This is our waistline, but it's going to be altered in front to accommodate. We are going to be coming down in front when we get to the front pattern. So now this is our waistline. From here to here, from our waistline, we are getting our hip. and we are doing it 22 centimeter for everybody. Is constant. 22 centimeter for everybody. From our hip, our waistline, we measure 22 centimeter. This is temporary. It's not a fixed hip for everyone, because this is just a guide. Because most of us, if we take our measurement proper, it is more than it. So it's just a guide. So when we start contouring, when we start cutting our garment or designing our design, we are going to it may be up before 22 or below 22, or even at that point of 22. So now I'm going to be imputing our quarter hip measurement. That's our hip divided by 4. I told us that my hip is 112 divided by 4. Let's divide it by 2 so it doesn't confuse us. 112 divided by 2 is 56. Divided by 2 again is 28. So my hip divided by 4 is 28 centimeter. Remember, it's all in centimeter. So I place my ruler this way. See how I'm placing my ruler. Hope we got this line. How I got this line, I came 22 from here. From my waistline, I measured 22 to get here. So we'll come here, place our ruler this way, touching this point of our armhole at the back and this one, and our waistline, we connect it, and in our hip line we connect it. Remember how I got this measurement is that I divided my hip into 4. Can you see my armhole? I didn't emphasize on it. See how my armhole is resting. See my shoulder too. So we are almost done with our back. Then we'll come to this waistline. What I'm doing, we come to this waistline. We come in by 2 centimeter. Is constant for everyone. Then I will be coming down by 1.5. This one is not constant. I consider myself an average size person. For a big size person, you can come down by 2 or 2.5. For maybe a slim person, you come down by 1. I came down for myself by 1 and 1.5, 1.5. So I'll connect it to this back. I'm not coming down at the back. I'll connect it to this back. We are doing all this to accommodate our. This one is going to be forming. I told us that this waistline was temporary. This one is going to be forming our waistline when we connect it to the back. So see what I'm doing. I'm connecting it to the side seam of my back. See what I have just done. See our back pattern. Natalie Bray pattern drafting. This is the CB. This is our CB. Our CB center back. So we'll come right back and do construct for the front pattern. So that's our CF. Thank you.